And now Mr. Ranjit More has joined us for this panel discussion. So I just want to brief the discussion. We are discussing about different aspects that needs to be incorporated in the smart city, because just terming a city smart doesn't mean it becomes smart. So we have to explore new ways. We need to have smart construction, we need to have smart administration, smart scale, smart policy. So these were the channel that we are discussing here. Mr. Dr. Sudhir Krishna talk about how we can evolve smart administration. Mr. Gadkil has talked about infrastructure, and now just Mr. Stoff has finished the smart scale aspect. Now I wanted to come to you. Now there is a lot of missing elements in the construction. When we talk about, we are very conservative, we are compromising in quality, we don't have the right sort of equipments that needs to be incorporated in the construction sites. So what is your perspective on that? How we can create ambience or environment where every projects will take every construction will take place in a smarter way? What is your perspective on that?
So first of all, my apologies to be late over here. I'm coming from the other part of the town, and then reaching over here took almost twice more time than usual. And I had many ideas while going through how smartness is important to reach a place, and many ideas how we can make very smart and efficient movement while traveling. In fact, we need to be in today's world, we need not to be smart only, but some superpower has to be there with us if we really want to if you want to manage with the infrastructure, present given infrastructure. So coming to the question, which your perspective is that the smart cities initiative by the government of India is essential and is at the right time. And if we see the things which are going to go into the smart city, building of smart city is basically infrastructure. The infrastructure will be on the side of public utilities, water resource management, sewage management, and the task involved is enormous. The scale of the requirement of infrastructure, the scale, we have a huge population, the scale of requirement of housing to be provided, the affordable housing part, is enormous. And mechanization is the only way which can solve this problem. We need to bring in technology. Technology is essential. If we really don't adapt technology, if we really don't employ technology to execute this job, then it will be highly impossible to execute this project at the first place, and even if we try to do that, the quality will go down. We are using a lot of labor in the industry. I feel personally that the laborers are exposed to a job which is Herculean job for them. So maybe many elements which are there against labor are also there. So mechanization is the only way where we can really give relief to these people working on site and execute this job with quality, speed, and in time.
Now I come to Mr. Rastogi. Smart needs to be sustainable. Unless and until we have the sustainable model in place, we won't be able to achieve what we are planning. So ideally, what would be the elements that you would seek to make the city sustainable? What would be that?
Yeah, that's the most burning topic as on today, rather I should say. Actually, if you define sustainability first, then you will realize the importance. Meeting today's needs without jeopardizing the ability of future generations. That's the most important part. We have discovered a smart city and we are going to implement that thing. But before implementing that thing, if we concentrate more on sustainability part, that's the most important aspect that I will say. You take all the components of the smart city. You start from land acquisition, hurdles, problems, acquiring land. Again, bill is still in pending, law, rather I should say. So if government putting an effort, if government can acquire the whole land, then they can plan in that way. How sustainability we can apply, how can we make use of that land in a sustainable manner. Now go to another component like construction. Construction, we can plan that thing because NGT has an order that you have to do these guidelines are there for the construction. So one has to follow, and that is for sustainability only because construction means dust. Dust means PM10 and PM2.5. 10 is not that harmful, but PM2.5 that goes directly into your lungs, and that damages your lung. And you don't come to know in a year or two, that you come to know after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So if we can think sustainability, if we can think how to control at the beginning stage itself, then it is really sustainable for the welfare of human being. Now think about the air emission. Number of vehicles is increasing like anything. And if we can control that number, we can increase walkability, we can increase bikeability, then certainly if we can reduce pollution, we are protecting you only. Because ultimately the same, just like dust, same PM2.5 that is going to your lung. We can clean our teeth in daily routine, but we cannot take out our lung outside, just clean it and then again put it inside. We can't do that thing. So we have to think seriously, what are the guidelines to be developed for the construction, for the reducing emissions, and then how to implement in a long run. That's the sustainability that I will say. Similarly for the water and water pollution, how best we can make use of, or how minimum water we can make use of. I think recently you must have gone to the newspaper that Pune canal, because of the Jat problem, that was broken, and for 1 month together there was no water available in the Dwarka area. Then people realized that how important is the water, how they had to deal with in daily routine. So that before that crisis comes, you have to think seriously about minimization of the water usage plus reutilization of wastewater. That's the most important part that Mr. Sudhir Krishna also said, that whatever water we have, how best we can make use of, maybe even kitchen water we can use for green belt development instead of using fresh water. So that much of water you can save and you can use in daily routine as a potable water. Now similarly for the solid waste, I think some days back I just went through with that thing. If solid waste can be directly piped from the city, it can be piped to some particular place and there it can be treated. One of the best way. You don't have to, doesn't have to go through the roads. So you are not getting any exposure. So that's the kind of sustainability that you have to think from that angle. So all the components should have a sustainability important part. In long run, without damaging the environment, if you can take care of that part, it's wonderful. And there are so many other aspects also that I will be dealing in detail in my presentation, like sustainable architecture. Now, we have so many engineers, we have so many brilliant ideas. The question is that how to implement that thing. We have green buildings. I will be talking in my presentation. How much and what we can save in those green buildings. Energy saving, water saving. We can think about those things. And then to all these smart cities, we should have some social interactions, which we are missing nowadays. We should have urban farming, nearby areas. You don't have to import all the vegetables and fruit from somewhere else until it is necessary. Then sustainable agriculture system, same. Agriculture we are doing today also, but how it should be sustainable for the long run. That you have to think. So all these components I will be talking in presentation also, but this is just a brief summary that sustainability is the most important part. You have to think in long run how we can make it sustainable. Only then it will be successful. Otherwise, having a concept of smart city, it's okay. You can develop a smart city, but the question it should be sustainable in long run. This will benefit each and everybody in the country. Yeah, thank you.
I have did a story last year. That is, oil belongs to the 20th century and water belongs to the 21st century. So we are facing a very major crisis. We will face that in the future, the shortage of water. So I would like to understand from Mr. Nitin, we have a very poor management of water. We don't have, especially we have to inculcate a good habit, smart water management habit among the citizen, and also the administration and the industry has to provide some services to, to manage the water in a smarter way. So I would like to get an insight from you. What would be that, in the smart city?
Yeah, thank you. And first of all, I would like to say that I am privileged sitting here with these dignitaries, and Dr. Sudhir Krishnan happened to ask from the audience that if anybody is there from Solapur. So I just thought that I should raise my hand because I am from Solapur. But I don't stay there. So what is happening today is people ask you, where do you stay? People don't ask you where do you live. So that is the difference which is happening. People stay somewhere and they are so temporary there. They use the resources, they use the water, they waste the water there, but they don't realize that the water is supposed to be used by coming generations also. My idea of smart city is not just staying but living. And water, whether it is for drinking, whether it is for potable, and when the water becomes a waste and then the treatment, I think that is very important, which the public at large should also understand what kind of responsibility they are into. If you reduce the usage, if you reduce the wastage, I think that is what we from a general public can do. And we cannot just expect smart cities to come up with something which is very smart and very easy to use, but we should also behave smart. So from the public domain, I think the people also has got a big responsibility of understanding how the water can be smartly used. 2 days back, there was a news, sir, in the papers that in Pimpri-Chinchwad, which is very close to Pune, is as good as Pune, 30% of water is being leaked. 30% of water is being leaked because of the kind of equipment they are using. So now here comes, one is that the public has to be aware of these kind of things, where if you are not becoming smart, then the government is going to impose these kind of laws on you. And what Pimpri-Chinchwad government has done, they have cut 10% of the supply of water to them. So if we are not smart, then government will impose, and if the government will not impose, I think nature will take its own course of action in these kind of things. So my point is, I think there are many ways in which we can use the water in a proper way, in a smart way. We have just come up with one of the agencies in Pune, where Phenolics Industries has joined hands with them, and where we have taken an oath. Rather, we have appealed to the general public where we can save water of 1 crore liter in 40 days. And it is not very difficult. It is so simple. We use our tap water. We use our tap water where there are aerators which are being put in the tap waters. Generally, a tap when you use for the water where you wash your hands or maybe wash your face, the per minute usage of water is 8 liters. And this aerator, when you put it, it will reduce it to 2 liters. So this is a very simple thing which, if every one of us in our houses, if we have 3 to 4 taps, and if we put this aerator, in 30 to 40 days, I think we can reduce the usage of water by 1 crore liter, which is a big thing. It is very simple to do. Second thing which I would like to agree with Mr. J.P. Shroff, who was talking about the skill deficiency, and Dr. Sudhir also spoke about the skill deficiency. I think there are many government laws which compels the builders to have the STP done in the societies which they build. This is the sewage treatment plants which did. Most of the builders, they would do that, but after 2 years, 3 years, you will find that these STPs are not being maintained. They are not being used. Again, the wastewater goes down the drain, and it actually doesn't help the public hygiene. And the issue here is not that the builders doesn't have money or they don't want to maintain, but there are no skilled laborers. There are no skilled laborers for these kind of things. So I think the kind of agencies which Mr. J.P. Shroff was talking about, if we start training the people, the builders will start demanding skilled laborers. And once they start getting the skilled laborers, I think the upscaling of these skills will go up. And then the others who come for the job without having any skills, I think they will also maintain that kind of qualification and only then come for the job. So I think if these kind of smart cities projects have to be taken into our hands and we have to take them to a good conclusion, I think we have to have these kind of skilled laborers also, and of course aware public. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nitin, for sharing such a wonderful insight. Now I move towards a very crucial matter pertaining to smart city, which is policy, because unless and until we have the structural reforms in the policy matters, we won't be able to achieve what we are planning. So I would like to understand from Professor Srihari, what would be the change that you are looking in the policy level that should be changed for the smooth execution of smart city?
Generally, the government of India should interfere little less. Because we want to make less policies so that we allow the state government to have the develop of their own resources available there. The government of India, even though they have knowledge, adequate knowledge, the policies should keep their mind that nature is very important. We have to come and work closer to the nature. And once it has been done, obviously it becomes small. Because now we're depending more and more on outside agencies or outside requirements, and all the carbon footprints are increasing. All this thing happens because of the high innovation and technology development. I'm not telling technology should not develop. Technology also should develop it. But at the same time, it should be done in such a way to close proximity to the nature. Number one. Second, so we also should work it for the smart people, I should say. Because ultimately the smart city, it's all for people only. So until and unless people should be aware of that, how they should wear, what they should wear, how to go about it, encourage the local talents. Because if I go to, the other day I was in Amravati, I was talking to the government in Andhra Pradesh. There were a lot of plans out there, but still nothing is in a concrete footprint like that. It's still going in a fluid state. I told them very clearly, until unless you make the people smart, that is the area where in which we are lacking. So that we should take as a cognizance thing. And it is for the responsibility for the city of the basic infrastructure. But a day is now presently, everyone fighting for the basic infrastructure. That itself is not met. Just like water supply, power, and other housing, and other even, we have so many huts are there, these small clubs are there. Few basic things should be handled first. Then slowly we should take it from the dagger. From there we have to grow it. That's what the policy should also aim at. Removing all this, the basic infrastructure, giving facility to them first, and they don't to work on this smart development. This smart development also includes the going parallel and tandem with the development programs. For example, now finance is very difficult. Government of India cannot give whatever they give is a small pittance amount, and it is only a seed amount.
Right.
So the amount to be generated by the state government equal or much more than that. Because even any builder, so many builders are here, they understand 500 crores is a big project will come for the building project. That's all. Nothing beyond this. Even a big, huge project in the building, we have to have 1,500, 2,000 crores also. If that is the scenario, for just for 500 crores for 5 years term, it is very difficult to develop anything. So one is developing the city as well as in parallel to villages also we have to develop it, towns we have to develop it, overall smart, for an equilibrium society we have to bring it. Because until unless we find equilibrium in the society development, then only we can sustain. Otherwise it's very difficult to sustain. Making few cities very, very small and few at the lower level only. So these policies should be very, very important in framing the state government of India level, the union central government level, and also the state should follow also in total spirit also, not as opposition or this government, that government, living apart on this thing. It is overall development of the people, society, and also the towns and cities and villages. So the overall development is very, very essential.
I would like to understand from Mr. Dr. Krishna, there is a provision called SPL in the conceived the smart city. So how crucial is that in, removing the administrative deadlock that we have usually when any plans and any development comes?
Actually, the idea of SPV is, I would say that on the concept, it seems to be with good intentions. But on ground, I don't see it to be a very smooth sailing option. Because I mentioned about institutional labyrinth. There is a plethora of authorities already, and they are under statute. And the SPV is going to become yet another authority, which will not have a statutory authority per se, unless delegated by any statute, but it will be a corporate body. So statutory authorities cannot just abdicate their responsibility just like that. You see, it is a corporate entity. If Pollution Control Board has to give certain approvals or concurrence, it cannot delegate its concurrence to SPV. So in the net result, it should not happen that the SPV becomes another burden on the project approval system. So they say very carefully it has to be designed, number one. And number two, the accountability of the, I heard a lot of debate in Pune about the SPV versus municipality and so on. Though I could not get to read all the debate, but I could understand, I could guess the flavor of this, that elected representatives are, kind of representing the people on one hand and ensuring accountability of the executive in a far more, effective way than just a corporate body with all the powers, but accountability only to their shareholders, which will be government of this or government of India or government of Maharashtra. Therefore, I do not know what the framework mooted here, but in some other state what they have done is, there is a full-time CEO, but he is subordinate to the MD, and commissioner is the MD. I don't know here what they have done. The municipal commissioner is the MD of the SPV, and some state level secretary or somebody is the chairman, and then CEO is a full-time officer but subordinate to the MD. So the MD becomes accountable to the corporation in his other avatara, and that is a workable solution. Otherwise, if SPV is created as a totally independent entity of the municipality, my fear is that it may in the very not too far, another 2-3 years when it start working, it will create conflict situations and unrest also, a kind of unrest possible, I guess. And above all, more than conflict and unrest, the project may also suffer. That's the danger I see, unless carefully designed. That's my recommendation.
There is also some comment from the political party that it is a straight intrusion of the central government on the metropolitan cities, and all